Good morning, family and friends and followers. I'm on my way to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at the Akasaka Theater. I am trying to get there early, and it looks like I'm going to get there just in time. It took forever to do laundry. You know, it feels really good to have been here for so long that it feels so natural for me to just know where I'm going. Even though yesterday I did make like 4 mistakes and missed the train several times. Every day's a learning day. Alright guys, it's a little crazy. I don't even have time to show you anything because it's just too crazy. I need to find my seat. And I'm hungry. I'm still going to try because I'm a real one. I need to get some food.
お客様にお願い申し上げます。客席内での2つ飲料以外のご飲食、許可のない写真撮影並びに録音、録画は固くお断り。
Guys, the show is phenomenal. I am so overwhelmed with just how amazing being in this play, watching the performance. I've never been in such an engaging play before. I really am excited to look at the English version. I have to see it in English because right now I'm watching it in Japanese with Japanese subtitles. Wow, unbelievable. So right now I'm gonna get a snack. It's 2 o'clock. Technically I'm missing my class right now, but this is a Harry Potter show. Gotta prioritize my life. But I'm just so happy. I encourage everyone who's a Harry Potter fan to watch the play. It completely surprised me. So that's a chicken wrap, hot dog. I had the pie earlier, and I had that donut. Oh, they do have popcorn here. And they have ice. Yo, Japanese people know how to eat sweets, man. And how they stay so thin, it's amazing. So right now I'm having soup, and I got popcorn, and I got a sandwich. I can't eat inside, and there's only 10 minutes left, so I'm probably going to just eat the soup and eat a little bit of popcorn, and then I'll have the sandwich on my way home because on the way to the hostel, because it's like a 40-minute train ride. Alright guys, the show just finished. I'm in line trying to return my subtitle thing. It's like subtitle phone. I paid 10,000 yen, which is like $50, but then it gets refunded. So that's what I'm waiting in line to do, is return them, return their device and get my money. Then I'm heading back. While I was watching the play, so many emotions was coming up. You know, I don't know if it was because like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child had a lot to do with like, you know, just the hardships of, you know, really the reality of being a parent and being a child. You know, there's no such thing as a perfect parent or a perfect child. And I think the humility and just accepting life as it is, and the people who, you know, are in your life, it's just a part of life and learning. And just even being in this country, in this situation, you know, I was in a really hard place, and it took fighting for something for me to even get this far. Because, you know, I've spent these last 3 weeks in Tokyo, which is like a city, New York City, and Fukuoka and Hokkaido, they both kind of represent like smaller towns. Well, Hokkaido is like very heavy in their kind of indigenous culture. Like, it's called the Ainu or something like that. And basically that's like Japan's indigenous culture. Anyway, I am almost at my hotel. and it's been a really good day. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I just created a new post. Go check it out. Like and engage. So important to engage. My goal is to reach a lot of people. In order to do that, that takes commenting, reacting, sharing, retweeting. If you like something, or if something you want to save or something, it's so helpful. Then this is the second to last day I'll be in Tokyo. Today, my goal is really just to go to my second shiatsu appointment, and I have dinner with my older Japanese grandpa. And then tomorrow I have my sumo wrestling event. So you'll get about 2 more of fully impactful 2 activities I'm looking forward to. And I'll still post along the way, so you'll see kind of maybe a little bit of something new. Other than that, guys, I'm pretty much winding down. I'm going to create a blog post for my website that I'll have up. I'm also going to have a newsletter up for people who want to get in my inner circle. Social media is all about sharing with the world. But, there's a deeper message and impact that I want to make. So for those of you who want to get into my inner circle, I'll have that information up soon, where you'll get select highlights and information about the projects that I'm working on. Thank you, everyone, for supporting me along this first half of my journey. When I think back to how my life up to this point and the people who played an active and inactive role in it, I realized that both are so important. So if you're watching, thank you. If you're not watching, I wish you the best, and I am here to serve you all as best as I can. My goal is for you guys to live vicariously through me and maybe even inspire your own authenticity. I love you guys. Stay safe. Alright, guys. Yep, today's going to be an adventure. Started a small talk with this Chinese guy, and now I'm following him on his journey. I'll show you along the way. Just got to Kamakura, heading to... Where are we heading to? Where are we going? We're going to Enoshima now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We're going to Enoshima right now. Guys, the desire right now to go take a shower and go to sleep is on high. But the discipline to stick out tonight is even higher. Let's go. We out here in Ueno, living life to the fullest. About to go have dinner, and I will share as much as I can with 7% battery if I don't get to charge my phone, because I left my battery at the hotel. Great dinner, great conversation, great company. Now it's time for great sleep. Good night, everyone. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who saw my story, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm sharing not for attention. I'm sharing because you guys are following me on the beginning part of the next path in my life, and I think in order to really know where I'm heading, it's important that you know where I came from. To be so blessed and to still suffer is quite an anomaly, I think. Well, not an anomaly, but it's quite contradicting, because you can have everything and still feel like you're missing something. And you can have nothing and feel like you've gotten everything you need. And I think as I'm moving forward, developing this global healthcare practices, really returning to the roots. And what does that even mean? So I don't have biological history coming from India that I'm aware of, but when I was in India and I learned about the century-old art of traditional yoga and the philosophies and the morality, and comparing to where we're at today, especially in America, we've veered off our natural rhythms of life. And as in America, we lean on pharmaceuticals, therapy, all these other types of therapeutic aspects to try and remove suffering and pain from our lives. Is it really helping us evolve? That's the question. Is your healing practices involving your character, your human experience? So for example, I've talked about faith before, and faith is a healing practice, right? When you return to a spiritual nature of gratitude, of surrender, there's an indirect empowerment that happens, and it's because you're aligned with a reality of your limitations as a human being. So faith can evolutionize the human soul. It can uplift, and you've seen plenty of people go into prisons with crazy situations and then come out and they turn to God as a way to better exist in this world. Now, for a lot of my personal community, the LGBT plus community, I think that we've struggled finding our place with faith because so many people remove access to it because of their own beliefs, of their own interpretation. And yet they're still sinning in ways that, who is to judge but only God, right? And then we think of like Native Americans or indigenous tribes that stayed truer to the cultural evolution where, these spiritual practices of nature and nurture of communities, they're the lifeline of why the indigenous culture is staying strong. It's the people who are not forgetting the language. It's people who are not forgetting the customs. It's people not forgetting the wisdom that's passed down. In America, a lot of the organizations that control what's appropriate are organizations like the FDA and what is it, like OCC something. Basically just these healthcare organizations that really, I don't believe have a good footing to look at all the possibilities of how humans have survived and gotten to this point. And what do I mean by that? I mean that organizations make mistakes too. Tobacco wasn't looked at as cancer causing, but when companies started putting toxic chemicals in tobacco products, and it's like, oh, now tobacco causes cancer. You can see where there's breadcrumbs of deceit and lies that billionaires are profiting of, organizations and people are profiting of. So what's my goal? My goal is so simple. It's as simple as learning as how to eat a mango, which I learned in India. In India, they believe, because of Ayurvedic medicine, which is an ancient Indian healing practice, medicine practice. So because mangoes are very hot, listen, I'm not a specialist, but this is my life mission, is to understand these things. So because mangoes are like hot in nature, then it's best to like put them in water overnight so they cool down and you don't get like kind of some negative side effects of like mangoes if you eat too much mangoes. And it's like, I had no idea that's how you should eat a mango. And you know what? Because when I was in India, I had a whole bunch of mangoes and I had rash all over my face. And it's like, how many of these hidden truths that we've lost over the centuries because we've pushed out, we eradicated populations who carried the wisdom, because most of wisdom is passed down from generation to generation, and we're really not passing down information anymore. We're recycling what we already know, and even if it's false, right? Because the way science looks at it, if science can't prove it right, then it must not be worthy of further beliefs, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that. So today is going to be a very long day of me just trying to write down my thoughts, write down exactly what I'm trying to do moving forward with my healthcare practices, with the knowledge that I want to share and bring to light to everyone. And really not everyone. Really who I want to bring this information to are the people who are tired of dealing with Western medicine and not feeling better. What I've learned is that, you know, pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And it's how we look at life, how we look at things that are happening to us, and how are we taking control of what's in our control to make the most out of it. When I decided a couple of years ago that I wanted to change my last name, it's because I've always felt divided by two family names that I felt like I had no attachment to. You know, on one side I have, you know, my grandfather's last name, and, you know, I'm sure in a lot of aspects he was a good man, great, you know, he did his country well, and, you know, he did his best in his own ways, but man, do I feel honored or proud to carry his last name? Nah. I would have been more proud to carry my grandmother's last name, which has more roots of where I believe I'm in alignment with. And then on my father's side, his last name, you know, my father has his own issues, and I'm learning not to judge because his issues are my issues. You know, maybe not directly, but indirectly. You know, I do come from a lineage of, you know, people who their gifts and their curses are also of mine. I've been knowing for a long time I wanted to change my last name, and it wasn't until right before leaving to India, I used ChatGPT to kind of just help me like with some ideas, and I saw the name Solara. And it was something about the name that drew me to it, and it felt like it was always part of me. And, you know, when you think of Solara, you think of the sun, Sol, right? It means sun, Ara, feminization, kind of like that feminine energy, power, which I was raised in a community of mostly matriarchs. So now that I know my last name, which is why my Instagram is A Destiny Solara, I'm legally working on changing it, but it's not official yet. But in due time, but until that time, you know, I want to make the Solara name something that I'm proud to pass on. Something that I feel like will bring honor, that will bring dignity to the reputation of the men before me who passed on their name. And like an elephant, or I heavily believe in the power of the matriarchy, and I am not a very big fan of patriarchy. Not that I don't believe that men and women can't get along. I'm going on this crazy ass rant today to just say that as a woman who is going into motherhood, developing her own lineage and what that means for the future generation, I take everything that I'm doing so seriously, like if my life depends on it. Because my life does. It depends on making a difference, making an impact, making a change for the betterment of humanity. And, you know, I've been thinking about my own healthcare practices and how I still need to eat. I still need to survive, and I am a business owner, and I still think business first. But I've realized I would rather be poor, fulfilling my own promise to provide a more holistic healing strategy or approach to people who are in need of something that I'm offering. Well, not necessarily offering, but that I'm exemplifying, or that I'm showcasing, or that I'm identifying, and then to be a millionaire. Because what would I do with $1 million? I would probably just spend it on trying to have not only stability for myself, but, you know, just invest in communities and organizations and people that I believe in. I'm not one to hoard. I really am more minimalistic in nature. Yes, I love adventures and traveling, and that's great, and that's so important for me, but you don't need money to do that. Poor people have been traveling across the world for centuries, and traveling is part of life, it's part of nature, it's part of our human evolution. And most importantly, traveling, I think, is a healing process as well. When you travel, when you move, when you see different ways of life, it removes ignorance from your narrow-minded world. And I'm not trying to say you, but our narrow-minded mindset. And last but not least, as much as everyone was like, how great it is to have a black person as an American president, I can't wait for the day a Native American, someone whose roots have been here for generations and generations before Americans, or before the current day Americans even, or Europeans, ever settled to this land, to that land. That's the day I think America will truly start healing from its roots, when a Native American becomes president. I am on my way to the sumo entertainment. So it's not a real live sumo match. What it is like performance of older, like I guess maybe retired or people who are not in the sport but still do sumo wrestling. Huh. Shoe repair sundries. These look really cool. It seems like it's going to be a fun experience because it's going to be in English. I'm going to get fed, and I'm just going to see a beautiful sport. I love all martial arts. I'm really liking the experience so far. Definitely a lot of white faces here, so you already know this is kind of like one of those more foreign-friendly environments. They have different meals for if you have dietary restrictions, which is something I can really appreciate. One day I'm going to start having polls of what should I eat first. I'm all by myself. The lone life, but I'm not lonely.
激烈なマンマ活動によって作られました。 そして今から300万年前、フィリピン海プレートの運動方向が大転換し、その結果、砂が寄るような
Luminaries will create the best tomorrow to all our customers. Live from innovation, pushing through. Sharing happiness, Coca-Cola Bottle Japan.
和歌熊本県阿蘇郡出身大和鹿児島県奄美大島出身
Thank you. Go Toki!
Yes, Toki! And Waka!
Oh!
Good! Aha! So, you're so strong, okay?
There's one education or one family activity that I look forward to doing with my children is martial arts. I just think a family that grows up in a martial arts environment, I just think is very healing in the sense of health. Oh shit, that's my. And honestly, the martial arts I would probably choose is either Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Capoeira. And the reason being those two martial arts is because Jiu-Jitsu is an art of the underdog being able to utilize skill to overcome a bigger opponent, which I think is so important, and amazing skill to develop confidence. And then capoeira, because it's not really an art of, yes, it is an art of fighting, but the history behind it is so amazing. You know, slaves having to hide their ability to defend themselves with dance. And dance and martial arts, it's about flow, it's about rhythm. So capoeira is definitely a sport that I can't wait to do more of. That's why Brazil, you're on my list. Probably in about like 5 years though. We'll see. Alright guys, let me tell you something. Most animes, when people are on the train and it's a packed train and you see that girl and that guy blushing because they're in each other's personal space, not as romantic in real life. Really isn't. It's cold, so I'm wearing 2 pants, and my leggings was starting to like make me want to itch my groin, you know, like right when, you know, like not the private part, but just like the groin. And I'm like, it's so packed, my hands are down. I'm like, okay, let me just kind of like try to get a little scratching because it was kind of bothering me. Bro, the back of my hand touched up against this girl's butt on accident, and I felt so embarrassed because I'm like, you think of all those anime or those like those old people who like get caught like called out on like doing inappropriate things on a train, and I'm like, wonder if this girl thinks I'm trying to be inappropriate. So then I moved my hand up here because I'm like, I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable more than I already feel. Moral of the story is, if the train is packed, don't scratch your pack. It's like I was halfway between wanting to apologize and just wanting to pretend like nothing happened. Because it's not like she could really understand me anyway. I don't think she spoke English. I've decided not to drink. Like, I'm not trying to judge other people, but I just feel like, I don't know, I'm just so present with myself. I mean, I know I haven't had anything alcoholic since before my trip to India last year, which was, what, May 2025?